Welcome to the Rise Up podcast, where we explore the stories of business leaders rising above challenges and driving innovation. And I'm so excited to have this guest with us today because this guy and I, we run in some similar circles, go back a ways. Would you welcome to the Rise Up podcast, Jacoby Madewell?
Hey, thanks, Josh. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So Jacoby, we kind of give him, he runs in a few different things. So founder, operator of the Madewell family of companies. If you have never seen the gorgeous Madewell Estates Event Center, franchisee of Take 5, Oil Change, Madewell Construction. We'll dive into all those things. Jacoby, yeah. Great to have you, man.
Appreciate it, man. It's good running into you, and I'm glad you set this up.
I know. Jacoby and I bump into each other in coffee shop places and other things, but I always like to kind of start with our worlds, I think, collided. I think maybe under the real estate umbrella that is GK, Gary Keller.
We met before that when you were at Greg Garrett.
Yes, because your brother was in our office in the
it was like a
bank building.
It was like a bullpen cheapy office he rented, and I was a freshman in college.
I forgot that you ran through that because Jordan and I were talking about that. Mm-hmm. I was there. I started in that building in 2004.
Yeah.
So that's where my real estate career started with Greg in 2004. And then Mark Murray and I transitioned to the Keller Williams GK world in, I think, 2000. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Because I started end of 2013.
Okay. So you were at the very end. So I'll kind of start there. That's where you and I really begin to engage. And I think we kind of saw some similar drives and personalities and interests. What turned on the real estate interest for you in that season?
So I guess in that season, I had to go back. So I wanted to get my real estate license since I was like 16 years old.
Okay.
My granddad and dad built houses and apartments and duplexes and you name it, all grown up.
Yep.
And so our house was for sale. We moved into a house because it didn't sell as a builder, and this was, looking back, I don't even remember the years, but like thinking about history and real estate world, it's like, of course we moved into the houses, especially in the market we're in now. I'm surprised that more builders probably are doing that.
Well, but I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I'm sure they are too. But we moved into this house, and it was the house we actually stayed in for 5 years from 7th grade till I graduated high school. And then my parents moved after that. But our house was for sale, and my dad for sale by ownered it. He had realtors, but we always had a plan. So it's like, hey, we have a showing today. This is what you do. This, and this. So that was one side of the story, is always growing up in the world, being on job sites. Like that was part of our kind of growing up. But then when I was 16 or 15, I can't remember, maybe it was 16 to like 21, I dated a girl whose dad was an auctioneer. Oh. And they did real estate auctions.
It had a header 25 here.
That's right. And they were incredible people. And but I didn't even think about it, but it was 06, 07, 08.
Yep.
And they were making a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I just got to do this real estate thing because they're doing it over here. They're doing it over here.
Wasn't the Peters, was it?
No, the Astor's.
Okay.
In Amarillo Canyon is where I was from.
Okay, that's right.
So I grew up in Canyon, and I just watched that guy's an incredible business owner. And so between him, my dad, my granddad, and all this, it's like clearly real estate's the way to go. And so 16, I was like, that's what I'm going to do. So I never wanted to go to college. I went to Lubbock Christian. That's where Jordan was. Yep. So I went to Amarillo College my first semester. Then after that, moved down here to Lubbock. I don't know if you know this about Lubbock Christian. Pretty much 100% acceptance rate if you're going to pay that private Christian
you're
tuition.
You're going to write the check.
So, yeah. So I did that I think I paid for 2 years and went for one, kind of thing. Yeah. Before I dropped out, and then just did a whole lot of hard knocks life, and then finally got my real estate license at 24 years old.
What was was Keller Williams the first place? And this conversation is going to go a few different places. And I think different people are going to pick up some things. And one of them is, as you're approaching a real estate career, and you've led in a lot of different ways of real estate, we both have. What drew you to, what attracted you to Keller Williams? Did you interview a bunch of companies, or it's like, I want to go there?
So a guy named Doug Duncan, I knew Doug through Monterey Church of Christ. Yep. And Doug was leading some small group thing that we just became friends, and we hung out. And for years, I mean, the guy was pushing me for years to get my license, and I would never go straight commission, I wouldn't take the leap at 21 years old. I don't know why. I paid for my courses at 18, 19, 20, and then like 24. Like I paid like 4 times. So when people ask, well, how much does it cost? I'm like,
well, don't be me.
Yeah. I'm like, do you want my version or their version? And back then, do you remember Groupon?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I bought my first course on Groupon for like $190.
Sweet.
And it was basically like just textbook, and it was terrible. And
Interesting side note.
yeah,
Groupon had an $8 billion offer
Really?
to sell to Google. They're like,
What year was
this was probably they blew up so quickly, like probably in their second year of operating.
wow.
And Google's like, we just want to bring this underneath our platform, roll this out to all of our audience, $8 billion on the table. And Groupon's like, no, we think we can do it better on our own. Wow.
What did they sell for?
I don't, I mean,
See if you can look
fraction of it.
See if you can look that up, because
yeah.
I bet it was probably in the 100 millions, maybe.
Yeah, it was a fraction.
That's crazy.
So Groupon
To getting my life. Finally, I went to Texas Real Estate, Tarek on
that's right.
Avenue Q, which what everybody goes to. You know, me specifically, ADD, ADHD, never did well in a classroom.
Sure. Yeah.
Hands-on. You know, people are like, are you visual or are you audible? I'm like, both, all hands. Yeah. Give it. I need more. I need to do it. So went to that class. You sat in there from Monday through Friday. And back then we had a Saturday course for a cram session. Yeah. So it was actually Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then you go take the test, pass it. And so that was the hard part, you know, the not fun part. I guess I shouldn't say hard part, but the not so fun part. So then I get started in real estate, and I just didn't know. I'd done sales. So I did right out of high school. I'd asked my brother. So my brother and I are tight. Y'all will figure that out. You know, he's 19, or he's at 20 or whatever. I'm 18, whatever it is. I'm like, hey, who has the best sales training? What business should I go work for? And he says, looks like Xerox does. Okay. So
sell some copy machines.
So I'm like 18 years old, fresh out of high school. And I Google Xerox copy, or maybe not even Google. I think maybe I asked around. I don't know if it was 07. I mean, Google was a thing, but it wasn't like, you didn't use it quite like you do today. And I went and met a lady named Kathy. I'm trying to even remember. Kathy Welch was her name in Amarillo. And I was like, hey, I heard y'all have the best training. I want to come sell copy machines. And she's like, all right. I mean, we have 3 salesmen. I mean, the office was as small as the office we're in right here. Yeah. And so I just hit the pavement. Yeah. And I went business to business to business for 3 months. And I was like, man, okay, this is not working. I'm not making any money. I got to do something. And finally, I sold 1 copy machine to the Canyon Chamber of Commerce. I'm pretty sure my grandmother finagled them. Yeah. She was a huge influence in Canyon. There's actually an award for the Ruby Abbott Chamber of Commerce Award in Canyon. So I'm sure that she talked him into that. And so I made that sale. And then when it finally got installed and I got paid, I quit and went a different route. But I wasn't going to give up without that. But so, I mean, I started from doing that to, I've always, because of, like I said, my history and Canyon and all that, and I mentioned the chamber, I came to Lubbock, I did sales and marketing and some of that stuff for other companies. And so I just went Chamber of Commerce and met people. And so then when it came real estate, I was like, hey, what do I do? I have a little bit of sales, but they're like, you need to make a list of everybody you know, and then you need to call them. And I was calling people. I remember this one conversation with this girl named Allison that I knew in college. And it was like, I just had a number from like studying group projects. And I'm calling them like, hey, this is Jacoby. I just want to know, do you know anybody who needs to buy a home, sell a home, wants to get started investing in real estate today? She's like, what? Why are you calling me?
Real estate who?
Yeah. What, we haven't talked in years. I'm like, yeah, I know we haven't talked in a long time. And I just remember her being so confused on the phone. But that was me. And this was when Keller Williams was on the Loop by, they built BJ's, I think, while we were in that building.
Yes, they did. Yep.
And we used to walk across there for lunch like every day. But I was in the back bullpen section where nobody was. And at the time I was 24, like just turned 24. Yep. So I wore a suit every day. Yep. Because that's what you do. I didn't have any knowledge. I had the hustle and I looked too young. So I had to overcome it with the suit. So I remember wearing a suit in the bullpen, making calls every day. And I remember people coming up to me going, look at you. Wow, you're actually making calls. This is crazy. I can't believe you're doing this. And it took me probably a full 6-8 months to a year to realize, people don't do this.
I know.
And so that's what I got started doing, was just making calls. And then when I first got started, I was waiting tables. So it was like calls, and then it would go and then wait tables. But I had the whole thing figured out that whole first year. I had mortgage lender lunches. I had broker open houses, and I had all the freebies you could do. But sold my house. I think it was day 42. I closed on that first house, and it was like $85,000. My first listing I went was $60,000. That got terminated. There you go. But my whole first year was $110,000 average sales price. Yeah, I think I sold 40 houses. Yeah.
which is a huge first year, right?
Crazy.
For people listening, and Jacoby, you can answer it. What is the normal expectations for a typical brand new real estate agent?
NAR stat, and this is probably 5 years old, but it was a 56-year-old female does 9 units in the United States.
Yeah,
so
that's
9
average.
sides.
But if you're a beginner, that number is even smaller, right? It's even smaller. It's real estate is, I mean, all sales is challenging. Getting people to trust you for a most important investment of their lives is not easy.
Right.
But, and here's kind of what I want to pick into. When you were starting in real estate, did you see beyond just make some sales, make some commissions? Was there, I mean, Doug Duncan, he's obviously got a lot of vision. What was your, besides making some money, was there a bigger vision? Like, I hope to get in real estate and do X, or was it just head down, do what they tell me to do, and then who knows what happens tomorrow?
Yeah. So I think that I didn't know my vision. So I let his vision be my vision.
Sure.
And I say that as much as he wanted to run and own real estate offices.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, cool. That's what I need to do. And so after year 2, I moved to Denton because he moved to Denton and he was a real estate team leader out there. And so I went and did the business coaching side of realtors. What I realized is that you only get paid when they get paid, and that is so slow. Yeah. And I didn't know anybody. I moved for my family. My brother had young kids, so I was tight with my nieces and nephews, and my grandparents my parents are in the grandparent mode. And it was just like not enjoyable. So I moved back after 9 months of being out there. And what I really did was I lost all my momentum in sales. So I had to like then go rebuild that. Yep. That was in 2016. So started end of 2013, 2014, 2015. I moved out there, moved back in 2016 in July of 2016, maybe June. And then when I moved back like 3 weeks later, I met my wife, and she was a wedding photographer. That's what she does for a living. She was a wedding photographer of a wedding that I was the best man in. Just like literally could have been a movie, you know? Yep. So it's all by design, you know, that I moved, I came back and all this, right? Yep. But I realized that now when I mentor kids, I want to make sure like, no, this is your vision. Yeah. I'm telling you what I've done. You got to create your own. Yes. And we overcomplicate like the vision and what we want to do. So I always thought it was like business. And it is like, that's what we're doing. And that's what we're at today. But the bigger I get, the more simple I just want to go. That's right. Yeah. So now I'm like, we overcomplicate it. I just need to own 7 to 11 paid off rental properties that make me $1,500 per property per rent, and just make $200 a month cash flow, pay those off in 25 years. And then I can retire and have $12,000, $15,000 a month in income from those properties on top of the real estate and all that. But it's like, I've overcomplicated it beyond. And that's where I've gotten to today, is because I've probably overcomplicated it all. Well, and I think you and I both probably went down similar paths where the benefit of being under this, I'll say, incredible visionary in Gary Keller, right? A lot of incredible people that got highlighted that we got to see put on stage, tell their stories. And at the time, all you think is, to your point, I'm going to have to run after and do that. And I need to do this. And I need to have 6 levels of businesses and this, that. And again, none of those are wrong, but I think you're grabbing a vision of something or someone that may and may not be in alignment with who you are. My favorite thing that he talked about was they talk about Walt Disney's organizational chart. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's so chaotic, and Walt Disney didn't even live out to see one of his parks open. Yeah. And, so it's just kind of like those ideas. And so now I think about the businesses for us is about whose lives are we impacting. That they may not have the entrepreneurial bone or something, but our company today, so the construction company is the one I'm referencing. That one has probably 40 employees. Yep. But in that company has, my dad works there. He's retired and came back to work. You know how that goes. Yep. My brother-in-law works there. My sister-in-law works there. Yeah. Well, not just my brother's wife, my other, like my wife's sister and brother-in-law both work there. Like it's a family company. Yeah. We're like, okay, for me to succeed means I'm bringing them with me, and I have to go succeed because now there's people that are depending. And there's like people that the way we've done the company has been so Lubbock good old boy. Yeah. That, I mean, people are talented and have they have the credentials to be there, but you're talking about some guys that we've known from the beginning at LCU that went off, did their thing. And then we brought them in 10, 15 years later kind of thing, or one that's been with us from the day one, Well, what's huge about that, and this is a built-in advantage, that when you're building organizations, a key part is identifying talent, right? That can come in and play the role you need to play in. But the other part is
do I trust them enough to release them? Right. The more that you can trust talent, the more that you can leverage and grow, the more that you can scale, right? I think a lot of companies, all right, I've got some talent. I don't know how much I can trust them. And there's always, they minimize their own ability to be productive because they're having to kind of manage the talent because I don't sure ever trust them.
You know, what's funny is my people that we trust the most, like we trust them that we give up like whatever you want, like complete faith, go run. They don't give it up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's the weight on their shoulders type thing or what, but it's like our top performers that we've entrusted to, like they have all the freedom in the world. Yeah. They struggle with giving up some responsibility.
Leveraging what they're doing, finding someone else. And that's not easy,
It's not.
Trial and error. I think part of it, of just kind of learning, all right, okay, I can be more productive. I can free myself up to do what I'm called to do if I release, And
so going back to Gary Keller, that's probably the thing I learned there is training, and I learned systems, and I learned leverage.
Yes.
And I learned the 4 conversations, which that is a real estate lead generation pipeline tool, and it's relevant in any conversation in any business. So the conversations are how many contacts did you make to how many contracts did you get to how many, or basically even goes further, contacts, conversations, and then appointments, and then contracts, and then money in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we're Take 5 Oil Change franchisees. So
apply the same model.
I mean, it's the same thing in every business from oil change, people driving in their car in. How many did we get in? How many wanted full service? What was the ticket? How much did we profit? Like, it's the same thing. What's our payroll? Then you start to look at all, but it's like McDonald's. How many people walked in? How many, what's the average? It's the same 4 questions in every business. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but learning that. Yeah. And there's some of those life lessons I learned at Keller Williams that were not about selling real estate. And that's what Gary Keller does so well.
Yep. Well, I think as someone who's expanded beyond, just selling houses, listing and buying, which was phenomenal, a huge blessing, learned so much. But I think the skill set of, sales is the lifeblood. Right. A multitude of sales covers a lot of other things. So how do you go out and get sales? Well, I just, identify, right, who your customer is going to be, and then just get on the phone, whatever that prospect angle may be, but not just sitting back and hoping they reach out to me.
Yeah. That first year I used as an example, but that carried on. When I moved back, I literally would sit at Fuzzy's Tacos for breakfast. And I would take my laptop in there. There would be maybe a group of nurses that got off at the 7 a.m. shift, but usually it was me in there by myself. I was always ticket number 1. Yeah. I'd order breakfast. I'd sit there. I would make calls, and I would do it. If I didn't go to the office because people interrupt you, I'd go over here, wherever. But it's like, you got to have your calls and you got to run your schedule. And I keep coming back to phone calls, but I did a lot of door knocking. Yep. I did a lot of open houses, and it was just a relentless attitude of how many people can I talk to?
That's it.
Because
it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. Yep. It's all it is. We're just filling up this big funnel.
So I'm curious to just a quick pivot in the same conversation in the Take 5 oil change business, which I'm going to back up in just a second how that all got started, but we'll just kind of jump in the middle of it. How do you influence new business? Yeah. Right. Because you could call every household that's within half a mile, and maybe you do. Yeah. Right. In that business, finding those customers looks different, but it's also a numbers game. Talk to me about that.
One of the things that we wanted to partner with a franchise that would do a lot of marketing. Yeah. So they do a whole lot of that. They have a whole team. It's impressive. And they're doing stuff globally, nationally, that sort of thing that comes back, a lot of SEO, all that stuff. I pay a franchise fee and a marketing fee every month. So they do a lot of that. But the number one thing that they've told me that stuck with me is they use the term operational marketing. Word of mouth. Yeah. But they call it being so good at your job that people were going to tell everybody. Yes. We have 900 reviews on Google at 4.999 stars.
That's probably way more than any other competitor.
I mean, exactly. And we are the first. So they had Grease Monkey and they had a Valvoline in town, but nobody really knew about drive-in oil change. They just still went to their dealerships up there. Yeah. And so we changed the whole game up there. But operational marketing and what we do Saturdays specifically, on Saturdays, they are taught to, hey, is this your car? What about your wife's car? Bring your wife's car back in. We'll give you a discount on the second car of the day. And so we'll have guys running through, hey, good to see you again, Barry. Glad you're here. And it's the same guy. So I'll have 60 cars for the day, which is a great, great day. Yeah. 2 of them were one guy, And so it's to ask that same question. Right. And I think the question is what leads across all the businesses is who else do you know? Yeah. Who else do you know?
And just ask.
Just ask the question, because it's not people think it's salesy. What we talk about on the Take 5 side is it's preventative maintenance on your vehicle.
Yeah.
If you don't change your oil and it gets it, now you're having to fix a problem, but there's a whole lot else that people think oil change, and I'm just being upsold on filters and I'm being upsold on this. I'm being upsold. I mean, when you're dealing, I don't know if you drive a diesel, but guys that drive diesels, that their ticket will be $700 because they're like, well, this is way cheaper than if I have to go, you know, and the thought process about the guys that drive the diesels, I bring that up specifically, is if I don't have my truck, it costs me more for it to be in the, for not being in my business than it does for when it's even in the shop. So everybody thinks, can you just bang out the air filter? Can you do all that? It's like, no, you look at the preventative maintenance, but it's asking for the business and it's being really good at the business. So operational marketing kind of includes that. So we have 60+% repeat customers every day.
That's huge. Yeah.
So we can set our next year's budget based on, well, you know, we're going to have at least these people.
Well, I can't hammer that enough. It almost shocks me. Mark Murray and I have this conversation a lot, and that is, did you ask for the business?
Right.
Did you ask, hey, how do I earn your business? Can I get your business? Who else do you know? Like, did you ask? And it shocks me, Jacoby, how few that actually happens. Like, fear comes on people when they think about having to do something that is simple, but so necessary.
Right. Well, it's just the fact of rejection, and nobody wants to face rejection.
Sure.
And I think that it started early on, but there's definitely a point now where it just does not matter to me. I think what's the graphic of, like, it's a social media deal. It's like in your 20s, you care what everybody thinks about you. In your 40s, you want to show it. Your 60s or your 40s, you don't care about what anybody thinks. And in your 60s, you realize nobody was thinking about you anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And maybe I'm just a little bit ahead of it. It's like, I just don't really care. Yeah. And I just didn't really care back then because nobody else was paying my bills. Yeah. There's a guy named Wayne Salmons, who's a business coach. He was at Keller Williams. I'm at licensed with EXP at the moment. And we have a group of guys, whatever, but Wayne always talks about, he's got this deal called Be Your Own Hero. Yep. And his whole deal is nobody's coming to save you. Yeah. And when that finally clicked in my brain that nobody was coming to save me, because there's a whole lot of years, and we grew up middle class, but we don't have money in the bank. Like, it's just middle class. I would go to my parents, whatever. My mom would be like, all right, don't tell your dad, you know, but that was when I was 19, 20. Like, it's like, at some point, grow up, be a man, figure it out. And so I was waiting tables. I would have to get there at 3 p.m. or I'd have to get there by like 3:30 or 4 p.m. So I'd have to stop work at 3 p.m. Well, when do people that are buying homes want to look at properties? 4, 6. Yes. They're looking at, so it's like, okay, I'm trying to do it on the weekend. I'm trying to do this. So it's like, I got to get enough sales so I can stop doing this, because I'm losing business over here. Yep. And so I remember I had like $1,300 set aside. I'm like, that'll last me for a minute. Yeah. I was like, oh shoot, that was a mistake. And so it just I just had to go so much because there was no plan B. Yeah. Yep. And I think so many times, like, because we don't ask for the business because we're just so reliant on the next play. I'll rely on grandma. I'll rely on dad. I'll rely on my plan B. And I had a conversation with a kid I mentor. I don't even say mentor. He's totally passed me in the terms of sales. And I asked him that one day. I'm like, so what happens? What happens if this doesn't work? And he's like, I go get a job. Oh, what if that doesn't work? What do you do? He's like, I don't. And finally it got down to, I guess I'll call my dad or move back in with mom and dad. And I was like, cool. So you got a safety net? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, pull it out from under you. Yes. You're never going to succeed. And that's right. And you could literally go back. If I would have taken that date, so now he's done $9 million year to date. Yeah. He's on pace for 15. That's phenomenal. He's 23. Yeah. And it's like, well, my sphere doesn't know anybody. How am I going to make any sales? Yeah. I think you and I have seen all the excuses, and those excuses are meaningless. Opportunity is waiting for you. Right. And it's truly in, like, pick out the field, right, that you're in. I could just tell you, if you just sweat some, do some work, ask. There's systems, there's processes you tap into, but it's just the willpower to get up and go do it. And the thing is like, people think, oh, well, you make a lot of money. What happens is, yes, the money's there, but when you crush it in sales year over year over year over year, like, your mind changes, your mental state changes, your opportunities change, and you just see things differently. You do. Yep. And it's like, anytime somebody can ask me, like, what can I do? What should I go do? I'm like, you need to go crush it in sales. The rest will figure itself out. Yep. But when you get really good at sales, you get really good at people. You get really good at negotiations. You get really good at contracts. And those things, I think, are what have led you and I to doing things that are not selling real estate, buying and selling all day, every day. It's the adage that the growth in sales means you're serving more people. Right. Which means you've expanded your network. Mm-hmm. And what happens when you do a great job of serving people, delivering great products and services, and your network expands, opportunities expand. Right.
net worth is another byproduct of it.
Right.
But it all starts with just take care of people, put yourself in front of people, solve people's problems, create solutions. So I'm curious in terms of that, the pivot, how did the Take 5 opportunity come alive?
So it came alive because construction, real estate, all of it is transactional.
Yes.
What we do for construction is for hire. So we are hired by somebody to do a project, and we're
please hire me to build something.
So we're anywhere from Phoenix to Florida at any given time.
Yep.
All over the nation. We do single tenant, triple net lease stuff. That's our specialty. Only until that guy hires us do we have a job.
That's right. So you're kind of waiting for that project developer, that franchisor to come in.
We're doing about $60 million a year, and 45 of it is kind of in a calendar year. 15 rolls over every year.
Yep.
And we're same with real estate sales. I'm only as good as the next guy that's going to hire me. So we have to just keep lead generating and prospecting for more business.
It can be a grind. Especially
grind,
when you think about the next 5 years, like, holy cow, I just got to keep this up.
With a 40-person company on salary. And then with, so it was, the question was, how do we not be based on the next transaction?
Yes.
And this was in COVID when we had this conversation, when the whole world shut down. We're like, okay. Now, luckily for us, we didn't have to lay anybody off, and the market was crazy. So we were essential, and we got to go be essential and go crush it. But we're like, this is wild. What if, the world shuts down again? At the time, we were heavy in the dollar store world, building Dollar Generals and that sort of thing. And like, what if they decide they don't want to put a Dollar General in rural America again? And so I think we're actually approaching where they're finally taking their foot off the gas a tiny bit at Dollar General, but there's no more towns left, if we're honest. So, but if you think about it, it's like, all right, well, we're only relying on the next transaction. Well, how do we not become that? We have to become our own clients.
That's right.
So we have to either become mega developers to where we are the guy that's buying the land to build the building, and we already have the product, or we need to go become franchisees of a product where we go build our product, know who the tenant is, know who the operator is, and then we can go have a reoccurring income based on this business. And so
the construction side to piece, and you've got the operating revenue side as the franchise.
So one thing we've always tried to do, because I was in real estate sales and because Jordan was in construction, is ecosystem.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I'm first in the business, he's first in the business. Like, we've kind of done these at the same time until about 2018 when we kind of came together.
Yep.
But I mean, he was doing soffit, fascia, concrete, fencing, little stuff. So I have a repairman help me out here. Like, I mean, we were doing that. And so then in 2017 or 16, it was the first residential home and then the first Dollar General. And then, so it's kind of like, all right, how do we kind of do this? So everything we're still doing is an ecosystem.
Yep.
So right now I've got the Take 5 oil change, and we go find the land, we buy the land, we build the building, and then we can either own the real estate or we sell the real estate.
Triple net sale.
And now I've kind of even moved past that. And so what I'm actually working on today is kind of working development company with another group of some people so that we can go do this for they'll either hire us to go do it, or we go find the product, find the funding, and then we get to have a chunk at the end. All of that feeds the ecosystem to get more construction builds.
Yep.
So we wanted to have the Take 5s because, makes $150,000 to $275,000 a year in each locations. I have to do 8 locations. Let's go create another $1 million income business over here that we can run and operate. And then we don't ever have to let our people go. Times get down. We have a whole nother system. I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy the Take 5s.
Yeah.
Leadership of Take 5 corporate has been incredible.
They based in
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay. Yeah.
They're owned by Driven, which is owned by ROARC. And sometimes you can tell they're so massive, they don't know the left hand from the right hand.
Sure.
But my local franchisee president and the team that I get to deal with, incredible. And I think it's because I have never done a franchise before. I've only built it, developed, figured the systems out, that I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
They
just hand you the playbook.
They literally hand me a playbook. It says playbook on it. It's called the Yellow Brick Road. You follow the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is so simple. And so we did get really lucky. We had a godsend of a regional manager named Angie. She moved from Lubbock up there. She was from Iowa, wanted to get back up north. So our franchise is in Wyoming and Western Colorado. And she's really the reason I am successful.
Yeah.
But
it's the operator.
It's the operator. Yeah. But we also take really good care of her.
Yes.
And we let her, and that's what I mean by we let her have all the freedom in the world. Yes. And she's one of the ones I'm talking about. I probably have 5 people I can tell you that they're the great piece, and they don't want to give it up because they don't want it to fall. But she's been an incredible teacher for the new shop managers. And like, it's very apparent that she's awesome. But, so Take 5 though, corporate side, they'll send managers to Charlotte to train. They'll send people out to my shops. They've been really great.
Yeah.
So I've loved all that and loved that back office support that I don't mind paying franchise fees or whatever it is that we have to do. But so now I just didn't realize that, because oil change is not my forte, but it's a simple business. It's oil, it's filters, it's wipers. And then we're going to add in some tire rotations, but it's everything that's really simple. We don't diagnose your car, probably like you send somebody else. And it's just, we can build it and we can run it and we know the operations. We know how to build good teams. Yeah. And that's what we've really focused on, is how can we build good teams? And so we just kind of go do that. And
it's a product service that has built-in demand.
Yes.
If you let people know you're out there, you do a good job of it, you've got constant built-in demand.
We even service EVs because EVs need cabin filters.
There you go.
And so it's kind of funny, like even energy guy, like looking at that side of things. And then, it's just a business I didn't know I was going to enjoy.
Yep. Isn't that interesting? Like you start out seeing, all right, here's where the opportunity alignment is, create some extra income, have a construction side thing. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is interesting. Yeah. I could say the same thing in our title venture. It's like, all right, this makes sense. We're already sending business. Let's do this. And then you kind of look up and we have a great operator, almost same kind of story. And it's like, hey, I'm not in the weeds of the business, right? Because we've got great operators, but just looking at it, it's like, this is interesting.
And you have 8 locations now?
I think I hear 9.
9?
And,
You got down the Rio Grande Valley? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scattered around the state now. Houston, DFW, El Paso, Las Cruces.
Awesome.
I didn't think I'd go into Mexico, but we had a big builder that's like, hey, we'll send you all of our building if you'll come to...
New Mexico contracts are different.
Oh, totally different. Yeah. Totally different. So let me ask you this. You referenced this earlier, and so we're going to kind of start the story. Met a pretty girl, wedding photographer, get interested in her. When and where and how, because you're a visionary, when does the wedding venue center vision start?
So, the whole Ford family occupation recreation dreams, you're going through a conversation and you're trying to get to know somebody dating. The conversation for me will always come up with, what's your dreams?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's kind of are you happy when you're working kind of thought. Yeah. And I'd asked her, what's your dream? And she had studied abroad and she did all this. She's like, I want to travel. Well, I don't mind traveling. I don't like to leave work. Yeah. It just gives me anxiety a little bit to be traveling. I'm always on my phone guy and I'm trying to do better at that. And so I said, okay, cool. What's your second dream? And she said, well, I'd love to own a wedding venue. I was like, why? Why would you want to do that? And she said, well, you age out of wedding photography. Yeah. And I was kind of blown back by that, because I never would have thought that, but you don't ever see a 45, 50-year-old wedding photographer. Don't. They're all 20s, 30s. Why?
And is it the age?
It's Instagram. It's brides are 23, 24. Yeah. They want the relatable. They want somebody that has pretty content. And I think there's one lady, and I can't remember her name. I could see her face, but she's in her 50s and she actually has a daughter that just got married, and Haley shot that photographer's daughter's wedding. Yeah. But Haley just loves the wedding world. Yeah. The wedding world is crazy. It is not necessarily like Bridezilla crazy. Yeah. It is just, you're putting on weddings all the time that it's high stress, and you got a bunch of entrepreneurs and a bunch of attitudes and a bunch of it's wild. And I'm talking every vendor. It's very interesting. But so she wanted to do this. We looked at the numbers and it worked, and she wanted it, and I wanted to fulfill my wife's dream. That's probably my greatest achievement, honestly. Yeah. Is being able to say, like, all right, so Jordan and my wife and I, Haley, and then my brother Jordan and Lena, we own that together. Yeah. But Jordan and Lee just let us, like, they live in Idalou. And we're south of town, and this is just north of New Home. And so they're like, whatever, you know? Yeah. But Haley runs that thing, and then she has a venue manager named Cece, and Cece does a whole lot. And then we have some event specialists, Callie, and so another group that kind of work each individual weddings. And so
I want to pull the sales thing back into it, because building a beautiful event center, which you guys have, if you've not seen, the Madewell venue estates, it's gorgeous. So I think you knew you need to build something beautiful, but Jacoby sales hat comes on. Did you have confidence? What was the strategy, and how do we get weddings to come to us and not go to XYZ spaces? What did that look like?
We initially think you're competing in town. What we figured out now is that we're competing with Dallas. Yeah. People that come to Tech or stay in Lubbock, whatever, and they're going back home to where they came from. We're competing against Dallas venues. But the competition in town was paying, like, I think it was $10,000, $12,000 per event at the time. The cost of building and construction post-COVID, which we started this whole thing right before COVID, and we got put on hold, and then banks said yes, then banks said no, and it was a whole thing. Yeah. Ended up still getting traditional funding on that deal.
Congratulations. That's not easy.
Not easy. So 25 years, 6%, 25-year AM with a 25-year, like everything, not just AM.
Yeah.
And so that was huge, but it had to be nice and high end because the cost of construction and so, I mean, today, it looks like we're making money. We're really breaking even because it costs so much to operate that thing.
Yep.
And I never would have anticipated the amount of maintenance when you have 400 people coming through there nearly every weekend. And people are not rudely breaking things. It's just, they just don't care because it's not theirs.
No. Yeah.
And
anything that's rental.
That's right. And then in the public eye, it's just kind of like, whatever. And you'll have people that just attended a wedding and they, then you have a kid that comes. And my first wedding we have a bar that's right underneath the bar. Like you put your foot on it.
Yeah.
The kids jumped on it, broke it. And it's like, how the heck did they do that? Look at cameras. You have two kids just.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's the whole thing, but that's been really cool. That was a surreal thing. There's been a couple of like surreal moments along my career.
Yeah.
The first moment I had was back in 2014. It was like a January, and I went to a listing and I beat another guy out on it. And I'm like, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
This is going to work.
Yeah.
The next moment I probably have was so along the way, I did like flipped houses. I bought some land and developed some land, and doing a couple of those type of deals was kind of like, okay, I could make a chunk of money. And this is the thing that I say sales, not money, because if you learn sales, the money will follow.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to increase your income and make a lot of money to do any sort of these goals. And I say that in a sense of learning how to make chunks of money at a time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this in the sense of making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, yeah, that's a great goal, but people need to learn how to I need to figure out how to go make 5, 10, 20, 40,000 bucks at a chunk at a time.
Yep.
Because that's how I've funded my projects over the years. This is my bucket for my day job that pays all my bills, my household, all of this. These fund the fun expenses, the projects, the whatever. And so, for anybody listening that's not in an entrepreneurial position and you make a W-2 job, you just need to figure out how can you save an extra $18,000 a year. How can I save $1,500
$1,500 a month?
$1,500 a month. Yeah. And if you can do that with a side hustle, which is so doable.
Yes.
Uber, everybody talks smack on Dave Ramsey. He's taught people how to get debt free, get their finances in order, and then how to hustle to get there.
Yep.
And it's kind of, you take a little bit of each person, one of these things you're going to get information overload, but go make $1,500 a month. And then every 2 years, you should be able to buy an investment property.
Well, and I guarantee you, and out of that $1,500 a month, yes, it could all come from side hustle revenue, but you could probably find a way to shave off $200 to $400 a month from just living expenses.
You're exactly right.
You could find it.
Yeah, maybe an energy bill or something. I don't know.
That's it.
Do we know a guy? Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, I've just looked at my projects of what I've wanted to do and how much money I needed to have.
Yep.
And I've got a high risk tolerance. It's probably lower now. I have a 2.5-month-old now.
Right. Yep.
First time parent. And my risk, I am spending so much money now in like life insurances and putting money back that I'm like, I didn't know where that's coming from, but just to set her up, but taking a big risk to see the reward. Like I always had the vision of the venue in my head. When Haley told me that, it was like, tell me more. Yeah. Tell me more. Yeah. Yeah. And then we got on some plane rides sometimes where there was no Wi-Fi. That we got lucky. We had no Wi-Fi on a plane ride from Dallas to New York when she surprised me on a birthday trip. That was so cool. And we had 3.5 hours of talking and we sketched out the venue. Yeah. And that was awesome. You know what I mean? Core memories like that. And then it's like, but I'm a dreamer. And I'm like, tell me more about it. What does it look like? And so I've just kept these things in my mind to push me through the hard days, through the stuff. And so it's like, it always kind of pulled me through, and I knew how much money I needed to have and what I needed to do. And so I bought some land north of Idalou, and we developed it up into 9 lots, learned how to do that before I was ever in a development world. So I knew the surveys, I knew all this. Spent, it was a interest payment from a hard money guy at the time. And I think I made $18,000 per lot. The whole thing made me 180 grand. I moved that money over here. It's like, but that was not anything that had to do with paying my day-to-day bills. All that was still back into. It was
learning lessons, stacking experiences, then having capital that goes with it.
That's right. That's right. And so all of that though, from getting the wedding venue and the Take 5 kind of happened at the same time. We were finishing the wedding venue, and we had started the Take 5 and finished the wedding venue kind of same time. So all these have kind of happened really at the same time. Yep. And then my brother has some laundromats that he's built. And so I kind of oversee the managers that does that stuff, but it's still just more operations. Yep. And then we've just taken all of that, and we've always talked about scaling. And now Jordan and I have gotten like, how do we get really lean how do we streamline?
Yeah.
And then once we get lean and streamline, then we'll scale from our streamline,
Yep.
And so our scale right now is pulling back to get leaner.
Yep.
Cause we waste so much money. It feels like,
Yep.
And so now we have a saying in our office right now, no sacred cows.
Yep. That's good.
I mean, we're cutting everything just because we haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
And so it's the red pen, yellow highlighter, blue pen.
What are we paying on our copy machine?
That's right. I mean, you're talking.
Why are we paying this much?
You're talking about all of that. Jordan and I are celebrating another critical deal. I've got a LOI to do a project that's $10 million and biggest deal of my career. And I'm telling him this, we're on the phone. He goes, well, on the flip note, I saved $166 on our AT&T bill.
You're like, high five, baby.
So it's like, we're still having it's like every little bit. And I'm like, what makes you say? He goes, well, I didn't realize that we were not taking advantage of this or we were paying for this. And he said, and then I canceled 3 Dropbox accounts for people that we haven't had the company in years. You don't know it. Just little systems that fall through it. And I'm like, we're looking at everything there. And so we're talking $2,000 a year savings, and we're talking, at the same time. But it's the same conversation of you get your finances in order, and you get
that's exactly right,
and then you're able to go do more. And people just, and that's the problem with salespeople, specifically even me. We think I'll out earn my spending.
I'll solve it with more income.
That's right. And so it's like you got to get lean, you got to figure it out, and
it almost the reward. I think that we feel the internal reward when we actually make some of those delayed gratification, some of those savings, some of those lean decisions, it actually feels greater than making some more income that I can go spend. And like, that's just, it doesn't move the needle.
The only thing that I'm okay on probably having I'm saying this backwards, but I'm okay with spending too much in real estate per month because I have the 3%.
Yeah.
And I have it's like, I'm so familiar with it. And so I will probably spend more per month on some real estate than other people will want because I know I'm going to exit that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. Like, it's still got a plan.
It's an asset with real value that's probably worth more 2, 5, 10 years from now.
Yep. And right now we're in a buying season.
Yep. Okay. I like to kind of wrap up with some rapid fire kind of questions.
Has it been that long?
So, I mean, I think, we've been pushing it. This is fun. When we have these kind of conversations, I go, all right, we need a phase 2, a repeat here in a few months, catch up on stuff. For Jacoby and Haley, tell me a dream home must-have feature. What's a feature in a home that you're like, oh man, this is a fun one?
We just built our house in August. We moved in last August, and we had originally drawn out floor plans, and we were going to build on 1.2 acres and all this, and that we would have been house poor. And I was like, we're not doing that really back. But I had let my wife draw a 4,200 square foot house.
Yep.
And so now we're in 3,500. Yeah. And really 300 of that's a bonus theater.
Yeah.
So it's really 3,100. So going and drawing your wife's dream home and then scaling it back by 1,000 square feet is
congratulations.
It's not necessarily ideal for the relationship, but she was cool with it. But her dream is a 2-story closet.
Okay.
Like because we're dreamers, we're always talking.
That's right.
It's a 2-story closet. And, she wants it to look like a department store, Mine, I love classic cars. I would love to own 5 or 6 classic cars. So I want to shop with the epoxy floors. I want a loft above it for like the man cave and all of that stuff. And I don't know if we're going to have any more kids, but if I did, then I would have a room for batting cages. I'd have room for a basketball goal in there, but I want to be rotating in and out classic cars from, I got a good deal on this one. I flipped out of this one, We have a 1981 Mercedes right now.
Sweet.
It's a convertible that she bought for her 30th birthday. And it's great. Yeah. And
that's fun.
So that's my ultimate dream is the shop in the back and that sort of thing.
Okay. For wedding event centers, what is a feature or service that people often overlook that's actually, you need to pay attention to this?
Yeah. So we run our venue like a big Airbnb. So you can kind of come in and do it however you want. But the thing that we have that I think other venues in town, or even I would put up against in anybody we're competing with, is we have people that work for us, and Haley have over a decade of wedding experience.
Yeah. So
it's not just that she knows how to put on a wedding. She knows the photography. She worked at Bella's Bridal in college. So she knows the dresses. She's artsy and talented, so she can do the floor. So she sees things that most people won't have. But I'll say the thing that puts us above and beyond is we have customer service there. Yeah. We're going to do that for you because it's just the right thing to do. We let people, another thing we do that nobody else does usually you get 12 hours in the space. We give you 16.
Oh, wow.
So instead of being there from noon to midnight, we give you 8 a.m. to midnight so that you can actually get there.
That extra 4 hours can make a difference.
Well, people start getting ready at the Overton and then they drive out and then they do this and who had my bag and where's my, it's like, no, just come get ready out here, spend the day. Don't have to go anywhere. So
I love it.
That's
let's talk about leadership a second. What's a leadership principle that you say really drives you, that you look for, that you try to lead by?
I have been all over the leadership board. I was so hardcore John Maxwell for a long time. Still love John Maxwell.
Yes. Yeah.
I love his stuff. I think the law of the lid is one of my major thought processes in my head of how I always have to be raising my own lid so I can lead people. It's kind of one thing Keller Williams did to me is I got burnt out on it, but you had to be reading to have something to talk about.
Yeah.
And so now it's kind of, I have to be reading and learning to have something to be teaching my people, a new concept, a new thought. And I think that's just what makes us interesting as people, honestly. But I'm really big into Brendan Burchard right now.
Yeah.
Love his Growth Day app. If you're not a part of that. But I would love to even join his, it's like $18,000 a year, his coaching group.
Yep.
Because when you go to his seminars, it's the best live seminar I've ever been. I've never done to a Tony Robbins, but this is the best one. But I'm leaning into habits. I mean, you go James Clear and all that. But one thing about Brendan Burchard is there's like six things you can do. And it's like clarity, habits, necessity. I'll send you the book, but you need to read High Performance Habits. Good. I'm on my third time through it because I'm just like trying to memorize this thing. And I think as a leader, though, there's a whole, like, I think one thing I taught on yesterday on our call with my shop managers is clarity. Yeah. What are we saying? How often are we saying it? Yes, you know it. Yeah. Do they know it? That's right. And clarity comes down to expectations, and clarity even can go so far as telling the client and the customer, this is what you're going to expect here, all of that. And that's what gets our sales tickets higher and all sorts of stuff. But clarity is one that's really big. That's great. Clarity is kind, clarity is power, all those things.
That's fantastic. Okay. You got a heavy day in front of you. You got to push really hard. Coffee or any energy drink?
I don't do either one. I'm actually, I do water in the mornings until noon usually. But I'm a peptide guy now. And so I met a guy named Peyton Kemp. He has a Pinnacle Wellness over off Upland and 82nd. Yep. Everybody should go meet him and do a blood panel. But I told him, like, man, I'm running hard. My days are long, whatever. He calls it the entrepreneur's peptide, but it's called CMAX, SEMAX. Yep. It's got some stuff inside it that does anxiety and worry and all this, but it's like a lift up too for focus. And I run all directions, but I have to sit down at a computer and I got to be able to focus. Yes. This partnered with an NAD nose spray every morning. And then I also do a honey packet in the morning too. Yeah. Honey and just hot tea? Just eat it. Oh, just the packet. I just eat the packet. Nice, baby. And then I just down it with some water. But those things kind of get me where it's like I'm energized. But the other thing as well that I do, I'm so stupid, dorky sometimes. If I don't work out in the morning, I'm doing crazy stretches in the shower. Yep. There's some Qigong type stuff, that breath work, all of that does more for me than caffeine. But if I'm going caffeine, I'm always going to Diet Coke. Diet Coke. But that's more like afternoon. Yeah. Because I'm eating usually because I'm going Mexican food. That's right. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Last question before we kind of wrap this up. What's something you love about living in Lubbock, Texas? Restaurants. I'm a big foodie, and it's like, there's so many incredible restaurants that people don't even realize. And then the people, do you ever leave town, drive to Dallas, do whatever, and you hit the Lubbock line and you just feel that? Yes. Yeah. That doesn't happen when I lived in other cities. No, that's a good point. It's like, there's something here that is just calming. And then the other thing that I love about Lubbock is getting to be a part of like Texas Tech stuff. Yeah. Like that's cool. We don't have our own professional sports, but it's a little different energy. It is. I'm really excited about 2025 of Tech, football, but I'm a Tech basketball guy. Yes. Gotten to know Christian Anderson's family a little bit, and they're incredible people. And so that Lubbock has so many gems, but my number one favorite thing, of course, not the people, because the people like you and me running into it's sometimes we don't go out because we know we're going to see 4 or 5 people if we go to dinner. Yeah, that's right. And so it's like, no, let's just stay in. I don't want to see what's a recent restaurant place you had that's like so good? Okay, I got to give a shout out. If you've never been to Asada, yes, on 103rd and Slide, you order the Al Pastor tacos, but order them on flour and make it a queso taco. It is like the best meal in the city. The second one would be F&B's burger. Their burger is phenomenal. Yep. Actually had a great burger, the signature burger at Stella's the other day that was phenomenal. And then I love to go to hole in the wall Mexican restaurants. And there's one on 50th and MLK called La Cabana.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal.
So
But yeah.
Okay. What would Jacoby tell sitting across with some honey you're sucking down? What would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Oh, by the way, my wife would love for me to drink coffee. She romanticizes about me drinking coffee.
That's right.
25. My advice to my 25-year-old self would be like, don't be so reckless.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like some of my naive mentality and just we'll figure it out has carried me. But if I would have started saving at 25 or 22 or whatever, the $100 a month. So that's why when my daughter's a newborn, I've already got her retirement account sitting there looking at. But that's like the number one thing I always say, because I just kind of have blown through relationships. I've blown through money. I've blown through, like I say, relationships, friendships. And like, just because it's kind of like, it's just reckless with a whole lot of things, not necessarily a toxic way, but it's just kind of like looking back at myself. Could have done better there. Could have handled that better.
Yep.
The other thing I would say, if you wanted to get into anything, is you got to seek, and for hiring or we're going to do something, you got to seek out the who.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Don't be afraid to call somebody that's uber successful.
Yes.
And that's one thing I did when I was younger is, oh, you have property, you have rental property, you have money. Can we have lunch? And they're like, well, who are you? And I'm all, I want to know how you did it.
Yeah.
And I did that probably because I didn't know you weren't supposed to. I worked at First United Bank as a teller when I was 18 years old, and I would walk into the senior vice president's office like, hey, how's it going? And didn't realize you weren't supposed to do that back then, but got to have conversations with people that I probably should have never been having conversations with.
And most people, most, not all, but most people, when you request that, ignorantly, whatever, they want to tell stories.
Yes.
They want to share. Someone comes up to me, I'm like, yeah, sit down, have a cup of coffee. Let's talk.
Yeah. I just think that if I was doing it again, I'd say like, do you have time for 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's good. Let me respect your time.
Yes.
That's right. That's great.
But that'd be one. I would also say, I think that Lubbock, Texas, West Texas rushes into relationships and some things that they settle down in life. And I don't know, I had a whole terrible history of dating. And then I was single for like 6 years where I didn't settle, like didn't date anybody. And then I met Haley. Yeah. But I knew exactly what I wanted, what that person looked like. And honestly, I'm not even the same person today that I was 9 years ago.
That's great.
But they say every good man, there's a stronger woman behind him. And
100%.
That's the truth, man. You and I both are living proof of that.
Yep.
But man, 25 years old, there's a lot I could tell myself.
Don't
get out of shape.
Yeah.
Stay in shape.
The
metabolism goes down.
Yeah, it does.
I'm still trying to come back from that.
Oh man, I'm staring a lot closer to the 5-0 than the 4-0. I'm just like, I just got to stay at it. Stay at it. Don't get out of it.
I'm to the point in my like health journey that I'm like, okay, we're going to steps. All right, we got to go on the walk, and it's like I need to get back in the gym and go to the lifting, but it's like some days you're like, well, where's my weighted vest? I'm just gonna walk.
Weighted vest and walking does a lot. Put it on some incline and walk. It's good. Jacoby, how do people reach out to you, touch you, contact you?
Man, you can just Google Jacoby Madewell and you'll find my Facebook or my Instagram. Those are both my handles, and but pretty easy to reach. But yeah, Jacoby Madewell anywhere.
Awesome.
Any social.
That's great. Well, Jacoby, it's really a pleasure. I love watching your life and what you're doing.
We're just getting started.
That's right.
A
lot of
36. Gary Vee has this video out right now saying 36, you're a child. Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. You got a lot to do, man.
I still feel that way. I'm 48. And I'm like, I feel like a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm just cranking the engine. Yeah. It's great.
Well, let's do this again, man. This was a lot of fun.
Would love to do that. Thank you so much for joining the Rise Up podcast. We've got an energy company, Rise Energy. If you want to check us out at getriseenergy.com and other ways, stick around. We've got more coming up on the Rise Up podcast. Until then, make it a great day.